I said I'm starting on time today. I think I started exactly right on time, y'all. I'm so proud. Hello, hello to all. Thank you for coming back to my channel, Becoming King Lexus. I am trying this out, this headset out. So I hope you can hear me. I hope you guys can hear me because if you cannot hear me, then I'm ditching them. When you see this, if you could do me a favor and come in the comments and let me know if you can hear me. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna put if you can hear here, press 1. All right, so thank you guys so much for coming back to my channel. If you are new here, you in for a good show. Welcome to my channel at Becoming King Lexus. Right now, we are just pretty much doing coverage on what's been going on with Young Thug. I'm a Georgia girl. I'm very much interested in this case. And we didn't have anything today. So I wanted to use today as basically a day for me to show you guys some of the other things that I have been seeing in the case, not just as of recent, but all the way back from last year. I want to show you guys how this judge has been in this case because, maybe 1 or 2 days where people see the judge and the way the judge is, maybe they may not have a full scope of what I mean when I say that I am worried about Young Thug having a fair trial. Everybody deserves a free and fair trial. It's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. These are the laws that they go by when it comes to any other situation. So just because this is a rapper and it's some music out and it's a big fish for them does not mean that they should be getting any breaks in the courtroom. It does not mean that the judge should be biased. None of those things should be taking place at all whatsoever. And I feel like I have seen that take place over the past 12 months a lot, even before the 12 months, even at all the bond hearings, Oh, I just realized I might show you guys that. It's one of the bond hearings where a young man came up on the stand and he was speaking positively about, Jeffrey. And you could literally just see the judge was purposely just like ignoring him. He just knew from the gate that it was gonna be no bond. And I've seen people, who don't deserve bonds get bonds. So I want to start off by just going to, let me see, I'm gonna go to, and I if you have not subscribed to the Law and Crime Trial Network, I love that channel. Definitely subscribe. I think they have 5.4 million subscribers so far. They have great content on there. It's always body cam footage on there. You can always find trials on there, gavel to gavel coverage on there. I really like Law and Crime. I've always watched them, right? I'm really hoping y'all can hear me because with this headset, I cannot tell if y'all can hear me or not. So please don't forget to let me know if you can hear me by putting a 1 in the chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to anybody that's gonna be seeing this video after the live. It felt good coming back to you guys these last few days that I've been coming live. It has really felt good to be back coming live. It really is my happy place, and sometimes I forget. Like, just keep going. And when I wasn't live and I took that break, I feel like it becomes harder for you to get back in the game when you are the longer you sit out. So that's the lesson that I feel like I'm learning at this point, is just to keep going. As a matter of fact, before I get into what I was about to say, you guys, I never would have thought that I would be saying this, but Blueface mom Carlissa, with the Jason View interview that she did, that lady said something that that like hit me so hard that it's literally started bringing tears to my eyes. And what she said was, if you just keep going, God will meet you there. I'm very familiar with, God. I was raised to know a lot of things. It's a lot of things I know. I walk by faith, right? But sometimes when you are in certain situations, when you get weary or you get tired, sometimes you need a reminder. And when I was originally watching that show, I wasn't watching it to get any encouragement from Carlissa or to get any of that. I was watching it because, of the Blueface Krishan drama. But that lady said something that made me just be like, you know what? I need to get it back together and go back for what I want and go back for what I love. Because she said, if you just keep going, God will meet you there. And that's how she made it through her life period. She didn't stop. She just kept going. And I feel like with recent decisions that I have made, recent things that I have done, I might have made a decision out of fear or because it seemed easier or, because I was afraid of failing. And I feel like if I just keep going, God will meet me there. Any situation, if I would have kept going, God will meet me there. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to try to always remember that whenever I get in a situation that seems hard or rough. I'm just going to remember those words. If you just keep going, God will meet you there. I just wanted to put that out there because I didn't get a chance to tell y'all that the last few days. We are definitely going to be talking about me, right? But right now, today, I want to give you guys some more content on everything that's been going on with this Young Thug trial, everything that's been going on with the judge, right? So I'm going to jump right into it because I do have some other things that I want to show you guys as well. So what I'm going to do is, okay, that's the jury selection part. I am going to go to, I hope everybody has had a great day and is having a great night as well while I'm looking this up. I hope you guys have been having a great week. It's Friday. My mom woke up this morning and was like, "We made it. It's Friday." I said, "Girl, yes, girl, we made it through another week. It's Friday. So happy Friday, TGIF." Okay, boom. There we go. See, law and crime helplessness. Selection. So that was the one that I was looking at last night was the jury selection. That's not what I wanted to show you. Not gonna. I'll be sharing this I'm live, baby. You did it? All right, bet. I got you. All right. I'm proud of you, RJ. All right, so let me see. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. And we're gonna be jump right into it. All right. Share screen. Hey, if y'all don't mind, can somebody go on my channel real quick and tell me if you can hear me speaking? Because I'm using the headset and I everything else. So if y'all don't mind, somebody let me know if you can hear me speaking. Let me see.
Outstanding as to form. Is there an incident number associated with the photographs? Yes. Is that incident number and those photographs stored in the normal course of business with the Atlanta?
Of this location when you're leaving. Everyone's gone, right, in Newnan, Georgia.
That is correct. That they had turned it off because I could not locate.
Friday morning for your car.
Give me 5 days.
Well, come back over to this screen. Make sure that I hope I will go ahead and go over to my channel on here, because I got to make sure it's right, honey. Let me see. All right, y'all. 1 second. Let me just see if I can hear. Hello? All right, y'all. 1 second. Let me just see if I can hear. All right. All right. All right. Okay. I can hear. Okay. Hello? All right. 1 second. Hold on, y'all. Now, since I know I can hear. All right, I'm in the game. Let me go back over to this screen. Now, we have already saw the testimony that was given with the lady who danced at the pink. Well, she didn't dance at the Pink Pony. She was the house mother. Sorry, she was the house mother. She's currently around 55. So this was 10 years ago. So she was like in her mid 40s when this happened. It's a lot of things that she had already said she did not remember. We saw the testimony that she did with Miss Love, but we did not see the redirect. So let's get into it.
I'll ask you about this case. Right? Some questions about this case that you're here for today. So, you are out. This incident you've been questioned about occurred in Newnan, Georgia, where you live.
That is correct.
That location is about a half an hour or so away, maybe a little bit more, from where you were.
That is correct.
When you left the club that night and you went to Newnan, you drove to Newnan, you did not notice anyone following you, anything like that.
Yes, sir.
One of the things you testified to a little while ago, correct me if I'm wrong, and if I say anything wrong, please correct me, all right? You said that the customers that pointed out, I think your words were no exception, right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Right. So when in talking to the officers later on in regards to that incident, when you left the club, right?
I would not have been aware of anyone, no, sir.
All right. In fact, the first time the prosecutor showed you a little while ago was when you were actually in Newnan, close to your home, correct?
Correct.
You saw lights in your rear view, and you actually, you kind of caught your attention because you thought, hey, I'm driving slow. And you thought the person behind you, the lights coming up on you might be kind of irritated that you were driving slow. You remember telling the police that?
I apologize. And that does sound like something I would say.
Okay, and listen, no need to apologize. We're just asking what you remember, to try and get a sense of what's relevant.
Objection, Your Honor, as to relevance.
A standing objection.
Thank you.
Rephrase, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. All right, so back to the facts of what happened. Someone hit you from the back.
Yes, sir.
You get out of the car.
Yes.
You see a young man, kind of nondescript looking young man, right?
Correct.
5'7"
Yes, sir.
130-ish pounds, small guy.
Yes, sir.
Maybe a little smaller than me.
Probably a little smaller. Yes, sir.
You'd be 5'8".
I look, I don't want to hurt you. I'm trying not to step on your toes on that one, okay?
And I appreciate that too. So you on the effects of you said, oh, he said yes, ma'am, or something like that, all right?
He greeted me. I don't remember if he said, hello, ma'am, or how are you? He greeted me. I greeted him. He greeted me in return.
You're in the back looking at your car. And he, in the meantime, goes around, jumps in your car, and takes off.
He circles up on the curb and, yes, sir, he turns around and takes off back.
You don't know where that kid in the car he was in came from, right?
Oh, correct. No.
I mean, this is Newman, so, whether, this kid came from Newman or from wherever, you don't know. The only thing you know is that this happened about 35 or 40 minutes away from where you work in Atlanta, right?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
You didn't recognize this,
But this is the defense questioning her because Newman was about 35, 40 or more minutes away from the club that she was currently working at. And I believe it was the Pink Pony. She was the house mother there. So they're trying to build a case and say that it was someone from YSL or basically someone who knew Young Thug because someone or he's familiar with someone is at school and every 10 years y'all reunite or every 5 years or because you the one with the money you start inviting them to stuff because you know that they in the hood and they hurting. So you give them, you let them see nice things every now and then. You let them travel with you every now and then. You're not responsible for every little thing that they do. And just because they were around you on Monday does not mean that you guys are in a gang, and it does not mean that they're doing the crimes that they're doing on Friday because you told them to. So that's crazy that they're trying to even tie all of this in, right? But I just want you guys to hear this part of the testimony because if you watch Miss Love closely, you're going to notice Miss Love does things like nod her head sometimes, like as if she's talking to herself when we all know that she's not talking to herself. She's literally trying to lead the witness from her seat. So it's little nuances like that that I want to show you guys, and then we're gonna move on to some of the other things so that you guys can understand what I'm saying about the judge. Now the judge did better yesterday, but I feel that whenever it's a crucial moment for the prosecution, as basically whenever they have a witness like Detective Belknap, she's going to be able to do whatever she wants to do because he knows that that's the key witness in the case. He knows Mr. Belknap knows how to read what the prosecution wants him to say and doesn't want him to say, and he's not going to be as authentic as some of the other witnesses that they're going to have on the stand. And that's just period. So let me go ahead and let you guys see this so that we can move on to something else. Let me go ahead and finish.
Kid coming out of the car, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. You cannot say, hey, look, I saw him before. That face looks familiar. Not at all.
No.
Okay. Your car is gone at that point, and you ultimately end up talking to the police.
True.
Watch her.
You speak to the police, and you told
Watch
them
her.
what happened. You told them about is when you're notified by the police or someone that the car had been recovered or found. True?
True.
Okay. You don't know. Right? I mean, right?
That is correct. No, I did not.
You have no way of
Sure.
knowing. You can't testify that it went through one pair of hands, 5 pair of hands, 6 people went to however many different cities. You at some point the car was found somewhere in Atlanta, right?
Correct.
Okay. You were never called upon. I know you were asked this a little bit earlier. You were never called upon to come and identify anyone who was found in possession of the car, right?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
You were never told by anyone, by police, law enforcement, that anyone was found.
Call, they had found my car. It actually was sometime later. They asked me if I knew the names. I wrote the names down and did not recognize them. No, sir, that did not happen.
Which that is crucial. They called this lady and told her, "Oh, we think it was this person and this person that did this to you." So it's not like it was the next month or next week. I don't even think it was the next year. When she's saying sometime, I think that when they started this coming together with these overt acts and jacked you, don't you think that she should have came and saw a lineup or a picture, a photo, anything? Because if that doesn't happen, then they could just pin the case on anybody. They could literally tell that lady, "Oh, it was me, Alexis. She jacked your car in Newman because she's got a Georgia address." You understand what I'm saying? Like, they should have allowed this lady to see the person, do a lineup, a sketch, a pit, anything. They just called her and told her who they thought it was and left it at that. And now they're calling her up here to testify.
I was earlier. I only got a couple more questions for you because just a few more questions. Friday is when this happened, like Thursday going into Friday, right?
Right.
And what I heard you say earlier is that day was like any other day, correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
It was kind of slow. Didn't appear to be anything unusual going on in the club.
Right.
When you are there at work, I think your words were, "I'm not that visible." You're kind of in the back. You're not really out there mingling with folks. Folks don't really see you, right?
No, they did not. That is correct.
To use your words, no one ever knows you're there.
But most of them do not. I really come in at 8. And like I said earlier, I might go back out on the floor one time. I often have to go to the office once for something shortly after, probably. But after that, I do not go back out on the floor. No, sir.
Okay. And there was nothing, in this case, on this particular day, go to work, you're there, right?
Yes, sir.
Nothing really happens, nothing out of the ordinary, right?
Correct.
You don't see anyone looking at you.
Oh, no, sir.
You don't see anyone walking out or walking around the perimeter of this location when you're leaving, because everyone's gone, right?
That is correct.
You get in your car, and that's it.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, thank you, man.
Any redirect, Madam? Mr. Sharp?
No, you're right.
All right, Mr. Williams?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Matthews?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Weinstein?
No, Your Honor.
I think that's it then. Okay, all right.
I have a great regret. Ms. Rosser, just a couple of questions following up from Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams mentioned where you worked in Atlanta, and I neglected to ask you when you said 2608 Metropolitan Parkway.
Y'all already saw that part yesterday. So let me go back just a little bit. All right. Hold on, you guys, 1 second. All right. Now, okay, make it back big. All right. Hold on, you guys. I just want to go to some of the older. Okay. Day 4 opening. Okay. This is the lyrics motion.
Years ago, I ended up in
There
a
we
motorcycle
go.
accident. I didn't have health insurance
Okay.
at the time,
Let's
and now
go
I
to
have a
this
plan
one.
that keeps me covered for $9 a month.
All plans cover doctor visits.
Gentlemen, this is one of our breaks. I'm going to need to probably ask you to retire to your headquarters at your deliberation room, and we'll call you back and just. All right, please be seated. Our jury has left us. All right, Mr. Steele, what's your
Honor. Your Honor, last week, share all of their displays in opening statement to the state
12
shared with
minutes,
me
and then I will show you another
4
clip I wanted you
attachments.
guys to see.
That if you don't remember, I'll ask the state to put it up, and I asked for it to be marked as exhibit, is what you already excluded. Murder, and I represent the co-defendant who's not on trial on the appeal. How did that not get sent to me so I could bring it to the honorable court's attention? One, I have a serious motion for a mistrial because it's intentional misconduct. That's my motion.
all right?
And I'd like the
Come on with it, Mr.
screenshot
Steele.
to
Come
be,
on with it.
captured for Mr. Weaver to put in the record.
So, all right, so that'll be court one for, what's your response to Mr. Steele's assertion?
Mr. Ryan and the exhibits that the state intended to play and sent to Mr. Steele and everyone else that relates to the slide to which Mr. Steele is now on appeal. Objection goes, that's part of the indictment. Expects will show. Objection about the fact that he represents Mr. Ryan or Mr. Blaylock on appeal.
You don't represent Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Blaylock, then.
Excuse me. I would never said this ever. That's it.
So what's your objection based upon, Mr. Steele?
Objection based upon
Now listen to her.
her. You argued the prosecution that before they ever mentioned my name, you granted this motion.
That I did.
You brought him up to this honorable court outside of the presence of everybody. We're an opening statement. I am lied to. I am saying that I am lied to. Or anyone else got that exhibit? I did not get that exhibit. And I see everyone say shaking no. And now it goes against the court's order. We are bound, duty bound to follow the court's order.
I'm going to join in the objection on behalf of Mr. Steele.
Let me see the.
I can put it back up.
Yes,
Judge.
ma'am.
And Your Honor, while I am putting that
They
back
are
up,
duty
I will
bound
state in
to
my place
follow
that
the orders
initially when
of
there
the
was the
court.
objection from Mr. Steele, I didn't have a clue what it was about because I didn't mention his name and didn't intend to mention
The
his name.
prosecution has
As I
a
looked
really
at the
hard
screen,
time doing
I
that.
saw that part
And
of his name was
judging
on
by the way
screen
that we
for
saw
most
her
part.
point at
I
him
mentioned that. I ruled
last
on that
night,
last week.
objection,
I
then
did.
he had to, it's
We
like,
were not. I would take
this
it
is Miss
as it
Love's
came
court.
in
This
this
is Miss
case.
Adriane
And
Love's
if the
courtroom.
evidence got to that point, then I would deal with it accordingly.
Because
Yes, Your Honor.
it's like
So,
she has to literally be so many times that
And
she
Your Honor, as
ignores
to
court orders for him to actually get
Mr. Steele's motion,
mad
as I'm pulling
or
this up,
actually
the
like
state would
treat
vehemently
her the
object
way
to
that
a
he treats
mistrial
the
and
defense
ask
on a daily.
for
And I'm
a
gonna show y'all some of
reminder
that
to
too
the court,
before
to
we
the
go.
jury, that nothing that the lawyers say is evidence in this case. This is not at all the type of thing that rises to the level of mandating a mistrial. Certainly not. It just isn't. I have
All right.
the slide.
Pull up. Now,
I have it now. I'm
court
about to
has
share.
court one for purposes of the motion for mistrial.
There's one thing you need to do before buying anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first. Watch this. I can show
All right.
Here comes an ad, but I skipped it. Okay, this is the slide that he is speaking of. Where at the bottom of that slide, you'll notice that you see a name that says Brian Steele. This they already talked about this. All slides are supposed to be given to the defense prior to showing it in front of the jury, prior to having the only crooks in the courtroom is the prosecution, because they are constantly doing stuff like this. And I really do not believe this lady did not know what she was putting up there. She knew,
Where you have that.
but it was her intention to do this.
At the
She's
bottom,
gonna do what she wants. And that's
represented by
clear that
Brian
she's
State.
able to do what she wants.
So,
They had a whole, they talked
we
about
can
this
leave that for
already.
the time being. Leave it for the
They
time
have
being because
went back and forth about this already.
I'm going
But yet
I'm going
still
to
at the
deny the
bottom
motion for mistrial,
of
Mr.
the
Steele, but I will
slide,
go ahead
you
and give
wanted
a
the
curative instruction to our jurors at this point in time. So,
that. And this would make disregard still, because you knew that eventually they would call a motion for a mistrial. You knew it would get denied. And you also knew that even if you tell the jury to disregard it, they still saw it. And that was the whole purpose of you ignoring the court order anyway, was because you were or not, they saw it. That's like the sun coming out and you telling me hot outside. You can tell me what to ignore, but I saw it. That's what she wanted. That's what that lady wanted. She wanted the jury to see it, regardless of whether she got reprimanded for it or not. She knew exactly what she was doing. But if they try to pull something like that, it won't go this way.
Do that now and preserve the motion for mistrial.
you made your motion for mistrial, and the basis, and I have marked as court one for the purpose of your motion, and it will go in as stated.
And I have two other issues I'd like the court to just take up. One is just remember, I know you rule on it, but the state said earlier today that Mr. Williams is contacted through parties that they don't know to pay for with that exhibit. And number two, I'd like the court to now order prosecute respectfully what you ordered last week, all of the displays of the state of Georgia that they have not given to us. So that's
What do you mean by what displays are you talking about, Mr. Steele?
I never saw that. I never saw the wolf. I never saw the indictment. You ordered all the. I gave all my displays. I gave it.
Mr. Okay.
Should have been done.
All right. All right, Ms. Love.
Yeah.
Wait.
Thank you, Your Honor. Two matters, Your Honor. One, the first thing that Mr. Steele has requested of the court
millions of dollars. It's actually not what you think.
that the state made about other YSL members. Contact is absolutely and has always been a part of what the state expects will show at trial.
I'm going to deny that portion. But to Mr. Steele's point, I'd already made that issue in terms of his particular involvement, and anything you need to let me know prior to that, and I need to rule upon it, and also subject to foundation. And just like this, so I assume that what you told.
Yeah.
Hold up. Right, back to it. Few more minutes left, y'all. That was him helping her, and he does that a lot as well. I'm assuming that that's what you're gonna say. The evidence will show. Yes, you gave her the rebuttal to say so that you could overrule whatever market that to. I'm tired of him helping Miss Love with her argument, helping her figure out what objections is, and she said on the basis, like you don't even know what to say. And the objection
What about the
was
last thing you
as to
mentioned?
the
And Your
form of the
Honor,
question. It
as
was a
to
compound question. You're not supposed to ask
the
like a
court's
compound question.
directive
Like
that we
when you
turn
got in the
over
car, what did you
anything
do
or
and
any
what did he say
exhibits
to you?
or
You can't say
photographs.
that.
That
You have
was
to
my
say what did you
understanding of the
do,
court's
and then
directive
say
that
and
we
what did he
expect to
say
show
she
an
does
opening statement.
with that. You're the chief executive
As a
prosecutor
matter of course,
for Fulton County.
I can again reiterate the fact that it was an inadvertent omission to leave Mr. Steele at least part of his name on.
An opening you haven't shown to defense counsel.
I
He's
don't
telling
mind
us
sharing.
well, I said that. I told you to do that a week ago.
Your Honor,
Because here's what I told you was going to happen. I've got a jury that's out right now that's being interrupted. And Mr. Williams, you should have made your motion or should have told me about that an hour ago or when you found out about it. Not hijack me at the bench about that. You did what you had to do, but I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about any of this. Because this is stuff we could take care of before our jury comes in. And that makes you all, lessen your ability as advocates and lessen our ability for this jury to go
it lessens you all just that's what he did. He paused, right? When he said, I'm gonna say it again, lessens you all as advocates, jury. He said our ability. He and the not be our ability. And then he paused because he wanted to make sure he didn't say our ability to win this case. Because it's advocates and lessens our ability to get a guilty verdict. That's what he really was saying, but he paused. He's supposed to be balanced. He's supposed to be the judge. He's supposed to make sure that to be found guilty on all. I don't feel like this is a good judge for this case. Maybe he's good for other cases, but he don't like the defense or the people they're defending, if you know what I mean. And that's just irritating. We don't have much longer on this one. I'm gonna show you guys another one, and maybe we'll chit chat a little bit, and we'll go ahead and get up out of here.
Go ahead and get this case seamlessly. This is what I told you all was going to happen. So, have you given them everything you're going to show them during opening statement?
Your Honor, I haven't given them all of the word slides. I did give to them what Ms.
You're supposed to give them everything.
Williams objected to. I had given that to them previously. I will give them or share with them the things that have been added as of this evening. And
can you do that over the next 5 minutes?
I sure can.
Deputy Ingram, Ingram, can you find out if our jurors are ready? Are they ready? Are they still using the restroom?
Ridiculous, bro.
I'll send that to them right now as we're waiting.
Your Honor. We have Your Honor, Jay Apt on behalf of Mr. Kendrick. Can we have 5 or 10 minutes to review whatever Ms. Love is going to send us?
You can take a comfort break, and I'll come back at 10 of 12 minutes before 12:15. We'll pick up after lunch. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who's talking?
That's Sharp.
Yes, Mr. Sharp.
On behalf of Mr. Stillwell. We've been operating pre-trial with the Harvey rule. I want to make sure that the record is clear that we join Mr. Steele in his motion for mistrial, and if Your Honor,
I'll apply.
All right, you guys. Now, I want to let me pause
You're
it
about 5 minutes early.
because I'm not gonna show too many more, but I do want to show something else. Right. So this is one I want to show you guys. Now, this is only 8 minutes. So you guys know anybody that's keeping up with this case, his name is, but that's not his real name, obviously, right? Deal that people were like, oh, he's snitching on his brother, and he took the plea deal, and his brother took a plea deal before some of the other guys. Strange to me, right? But he took the deal, and he happy about being out of jail. And I don't know if Young Thug was okay with him. I'm gonna just say Jeff. I don't even want to call him Young Thug no more because they are using anything and everything that they can. He's still a human being at the end of the day. His name is Jeffrey Williams. Okay, they are saying that Jeff's brother, you know, had took the plea deal. And some people were saying, that's messed up. Some people were saying, well, we can't say that's messed up or not because we don't know what's really going on the inside, or if that was a good move or a bad move. We know that his dad said that nobody has done anything to hurt the case. So everybody just like, okay, it is what it is, right? So how about 6 months later, this man was back in the courtroom. He signed up for trial. 10 years of probation, which is stupid for anybody to do, but I guess it's better than 10 years in jail for them. But you could get violated on anything. You could do 9 years of probation and get violated on the 9th year and go back to prison for 10. You see what I'm saying? So this man signed a plea and agreed to do certain things and was told not to have any possession of a gun, drugs, be in certain places. He just got on probation maybe 5 to 6 months ago, and he's back in jail. And I want you guys to see what happens because a lot of people, this case started out with 20 something people. I want you guys to see what happens because a lot of these guys took these plea deals and they might just have taken a setup. You know what I mean? So let me let you guys see what 30-second video. So I'll still be able to show you guys the other one.
Mr. Gray, do you recall when I sentenced you on the 20th of December that I went through certain things that you were expected to do at that point in time? You remember that? Do you remember? I'd like you to turn to page 13. All right, about line 11, the question I asked you was, do you understand that if you're placed on probation of any kind, any special conditions of probation without being subject to a revocation for the balance of the sentence? Your response was yes. Is that correct? All right. And in the next question on line 16, do you understand that you're not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes, Your
All right, you remember we had that saying? I mean, we had that conversation about that? Okay, all right. On the next page, on page 14, you remember, and this is, I just wanted to kind of just point this out to you, risk of subjecting yourself to additional charges if you have a firearm. Remember on page 14, about line 11, I want you to read that yourself. That's not what you're being associated today with, but you remember we had a conversation, we had a lot of conversations about firearms, and Ms. Love's right. About 6 things in this plea colloquy talk about firearms. So do you remember us talking about that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Greer, you remember on page and about how, we talked to you about being put on a curfew.
Watch
That's
what
on
happened,
page 20.
y'all.
And then turn to page 26 of the very. You remember me talking to you about, this is me, the court. You shall possess no guns during the term of your sentence or any time after unless your right to have it or possession of a firearm has been restored. All right? And your answer? Yes, Your Honor. Is that correct?
Yes, Your
On that same page on line 19, also, when we talked about the special conditions of your sentence, you will possess no guns during the term of special condition of probation. You remember us talking about that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
All right, you remember you signed, I want you to turn all the way to the end. It's on page 34. It's dated December the 12th of 2022. It is, the title of it is Office of the Fulton County District Attorney, Atlanta Judicial Circuit. And it's got 1, current charges, 2, negotiated sentence, 3, special conditions of probation, 4, defendant's acknowledgements. And it's your plea agreement. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I want you to turn to that. I want you to take a look at 2, paragraph number 2, negotiated sentence. B, in that particular paragraph. What does that say?
Defendant should possess no gun during the term of the sentence in the other should be restored.
Defendant shall possess no guns during the term of the sentence, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And your signature is on page 37. Is that correct? That you've read this agreement, you've had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Russ, Ms. Norman about this agreement, and no other promises other than the ones made in the document in furtherance of this agreement. And you gave this freely, voluntarily entered into this agreement without force, threat, or coercion. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So it's not like we didn't have a conversation about this firearm, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So
We're gonna talk about it when we come off.
as I mentioned earlier, I don't take pleasure
Don't play
in
with me,
sending people
boy.
to prison. It's part of the job and the responsibilities I have as part of what
Play with me, the deal is off.
potential consequences are of people's actions. But in this particular circumstance, the state has alleged that you didn't pay your probation fees, and okay, and I've heard evidence that you haven't paid your fees. You owe $141.08 in fees. You haven't started any of the community service in this particular case, so I find those to be proven violations. But those are relatively minor. I mean, we still want you to adhere to all the conditions, but they're of the 3 violations and the grade of those violations, they're not as severe as getting a new case, okay? A new charge. And part of the special condition was that you're not supposed to possess a gun. And the state was very clear, and Jeffery testified earlier about the things that you were given in terms of your reporting and standing and specifically you signed acknowledgement of firearm in states 3 and prohibition of possessing firearms or ammunition in states 4. And then I saw states 6 and 7, which was the Glock 9 that was taken from the vehicle, which you were the driver, shaded 3 to 4 inches from that. So I find that based upon the evidence presented in this case, the state has proven by preponderance of the evidence that you have violated your probation in the 3 means as set forth in paragraph 4 on the petition. Now, in terms of the revocation, your attorney has asked me to consider a revocation of 2 years. And I certainly respect her, and I certainly respect that.
Now, the attorney asked the judge, Lord, I mean, not Lord, can you consider just giving him 2 years to the door? I just want to make that clear that the attorney asked if he could just, let's keep going.
You don't know unless you ask. The issue I find, you got arrested with a gun within 6 months of you being placed on probation. And I agree with the state.
Woo!
that you're not a candidate for probation, because all you had to do is just complete your probation and do what you're supposed to do. Instead, you were riding around the car with a gun in violation of your probation and what this court explicitly had conversations with you about, explicitly on the record. And for that reason, sir, I will serve that in the Department of Corrections, and that will be the sentence of the court. Anything further? All right, that'll be the sentence of the court. Okay.
That boy just got out 6 months ago facing RICO charges. Some people would say he's a snitch. That is nuts, y'all. The streets don't respect rats, but courts don't protect rats. The streets don't respect rats, and the courts don't protect rats. I hope y'all heard that. I hope y'all heard that. Wow. Must. He had signed a paper for 10 years probation. And I think I remember Boosie saying something about a rat literally like when you become a rat, you always on the wheel, on the rat wheel, because you know you rat on someone or you snitch on someone, you get time out where you end up getting out of jail, but they're gonna put you on 10 years probation, and you can't do right with them 10 years probation because you always drinking or getting high, because you always worried about your life, or you scared, or it's tormenting you, so you don't never get your life together because of the way that you had to get out. So you're gonna constantly keep getting violated. 2 years, have to rat on somebody else to get help. Getting off of that, they put you back in, you get violated again, you go back in, you get violated. You know what I mean? I'm gonna find that video where Bootsy said that. But I want to show you guys some stuff that maybe you have not seen, because a lot of people think this case is just getting started. They don't realize that these hearings have been going on since last year, since about November or December of last year. So let me. There is some other hearings I do want y'all to see, but see, they all the way back up in there because hold on, make sure today hearing, motions hearing part 3, push to keep goat sacrifice ritual out of the trial. All right, we can watch the one about the. Okay, so one of the guys that is on the indictment of the RICO case, when the police came to apprehend him, when he was indicted by the grand jury, they went to go pick him up. Apparently, he was doing a sacrifice um, in the middle of him doing the sacrifice. They came and picked him up and took him to jail. So Young Thug's lawyers pushed to keep the goat sacrifice ritual out of the RICO trial. They don't want the jury to know about it. So let's see what happens here. This is 9 minutes and 20 seconds. We will be all right watching this one too.
New York City without anybody seeing.
Jury selection, petitioning the court to exclude evidence of a ritualistic sacrifice in his RICO trial.
The theory behind killing animals is you're draining their energy, their power, and to use for mystical purposes.
A court real name is Jeffery Williams, have motioned to exclude evidence stemming from his co-defendant's arrest. According to the documents, during Shannon Stillwell's March 2022 arrest, officials found a quote, religious ceremony which involved the supposed sacrifice of goats. Prosecutors say Stillwell, known as SB, and Young Thug were part of a gang referred to as Young Slime Life, Young Stoner Life, or simply YSL. Last year, Fulton County, Georgia officials indicted nearly 30 people involved in the gang, alleging conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corruption Act, or RICO. Multiple defendants are also indicted on several counts of murder, and Young Thug faces one count of participation in criminal street gang. Jury selection for the 8 gang members began in January in what's set to be the longest criminal trial in the county's history. Now, Young Thug's defense team says showing evidence of this alleged goat sacrifice has no, quote, benefit or probative value and could create prejudice in jurors. For more information about this alleged sacrifice, Long Crime Network spoke to Stephen Hassan, a licensed mind resource center.
I got interested in this crazy field of cults and brainwashing because of my own recruitment while I was at college in 1974 into a friend group of the Moon cult. And I wound up dropping out of college, quitting my job, donating my bank account, becoming radicalized, believing Moon was the Messiah, the end of the world.
Hassan says he's been studying cults for 47 years, ever since he was deprogrammed from the Moon cult in the late 70s.
It happened in 1977. And I became a right-wing fascist, basically, and I was elevated to positions where I could hear the discussions about how democracy was evil and how we had to infiltrate the US government and set up our own government and run it as a theocracy. When I got deprogrammed after a near-fatal van crash, and I was totally a fanatic, so I didn't want to leave the group, but I wanted to prove to my family that I wasn't in a cult or brainwashed. So I agreed to talk to the ex-members of the Moonies and learn about Chinese communist brainwashing. And fortunately, on the last day, I had a waking up experience where I realized Moon couldn't be the Messiah, that he was a liar, that that everything that I had believed was based on the assumption he was the Messiah and the greatest man in human history. And then I cried.
Hassan says animal sacrifices date back thousands of years, but can still happen in present day.
So animal sacrifice goes back to ancient times. I'm Jewish, and there used to be a temple, and people would sacrifice bulls and all kinds of animals to God. And that, of course, ended centuries ago. There are paganistic cults that I believe still, and shamanistic cults that do animal sacrifice, involving killing cats, dogs, chickens, roosters, all kinds of animals, as I said, depending on the culture and the circumstances, has been done.
He also made note of the so-called satanic panic of the 1980s that included animalistic sacrifices and satanistic imagery.
There are known paganistic symbols and satanic symbols, and there are there's a whole textbook on ritual crime that police know about and have used. But honestly, there was a whole satanic panic in the 80s where everyone thought that they had been sexually abused by a satanic cult in their town, and it turned out that there were bad therapists using hypnosis to supposedly regress people to remember being in a satanic cult, and it wasn't. It was just inculcation of false memories into people.
But in this case, Hassan says he's unclear what specifically a goat sacrifice could represent.
The theory behind killing animals is you're draining their energy.
Happy holidays. Migrants destination.
This is crazy. I just want to say that.
I'm not on my parents' health insurance anymore, and I work for myself doing a bit of everything. So I found a plan for just $34 a month.
Whose first sign of sacrifice to the divine. And it could very well be just a crazy thing that
I'm
was
just
being done
saying,
to
it
spook
is
people and
crazy.
make them more afraid. I couldn't help but think about, great, symbolically that. I really don't know.
Hassan says he is legitimately based on religion.
So animal sacrifice goes back to ancient times. I'm
If you are watching this video, shout out to the replay gang. If you are even watching this video on the replay gang, please put in the comments, would be in a relationship with a man, and if you are a man, if you would be in a relationship with goats. Like, I really want to know y'all thoughts on this. Okay, please drop down in the comments and
Jewish,
talk
and
to
it
me.
used to be a temple,
Please
and
talk to me
people would
about this. I can't
sacrifice
take too much
bulls and
more.
all kinds of animals to
Honestly.
God, and that, of course, ended centuries ago. There are paganistic cults that I believe still, and shamanistic cults that do animal sacrifice. The last time I heard about a group doing it was a criminal network in Mexico. It was basically a drug smuggling and gun smuggling cult technique to make people afraid that they had powers. But in fact, it was just a criminal enterprise using it.
And all right, y'all. I can't take too much more. My mama don't like stuff like that in her house. I can feel my mama so strong that she has not came in here. She have not said that to me or nothing like that. But I just know that my mama wouldn't sacrifice all that. If you see this video, mama, I read your mind from all the way over there in your room. But okay, you guys, go on to something next. I didn't know they were gonna be talking about it. I thought that they were gonna be in the court hearing talking about it. To be honest with you, the guy who's talking about it, I'm kind of worried because, like, are you still in the cult? You sound like you still in the cult, like you, if you know what I mean. All right, you guys. So we got to get to some more. I want you guys to see some good stuff. So hold up, hold up. Arrested a why still lawyer arrested a young thug trial tells it's good. Okay. So a couple months back, there was an attorney. Oh, do I wanna show this one now? Okay, that's number 30. I'm gonna go to that one. I'm gonna go back to that one because it'll make me forget what else I want to show you. So just hold on. Okay, wait. We almost here. Okay, courtroom erupts. Okay, boom. Grand lawyer. Okay, boom. Okay, now we at the good stuff, y'all. We at the good stuff. We are at the good stuff. Okay. All right. Okay, so you guys, we gotta talk about this tonight. So this is what we're gonna do. I do want to show you guys the one about the juror, okay, the one who recorded video in court because she ended up getting locked up. She ended up having to serve jail time for it. Remember when I told you guys that he was punking the attorneys that were on the defense side? Imagine being in court and you fighting for your life, right? And the judge talks to your attorney the way that I'm about to show you. What would you do if you're watching this replay gang or live? Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. We're going to get into some more entertainment right now. So tell me what you guys think. How would you feel if you were in a case where you were fighting for your life, whether you did it or let's say you didn't do it, and you have an attorney you can't afford Brian Steele, but you got a court appointed attorney, right? And you fighting for your life. How would you feel if you went to court one day with your attorney and the judge said this to your attorney? Come on, play.
Next matter, Mr. Johnson, how are we doing on that paper? I mean, the importance of professionalism. Yours is due by the 28th of April. I'm just clocking. So we on track? Well, your better half said she's not writing it for you either. Okay, well, just want to let you know that, okay? All right, so we're good? I'm sorry? Because that wasn't offered to you. You already asked me, could I pay the $1,000? I told you no. Well, I know you would, but that's not what's on the table. 28, yes, at noon. Or you do 20 days. It's 17-page paper on the importance of professionalism in the legal field and treating one's opponents with civility. Paper is to be published quality in APA format and at least 10 primary and 10 secondary. We'll send it to to either the Georgia, any one of our law, actually law review or any other place that accepts publications, and it should be acceptable. Say again? Say again, Mr. Jimenez?
It's very difficult to get published, you know. I've never been published.
Okay, all right, okay. But that's another issue that we're not going to deal with today. But anyways, okay, so Mr. Johnson, we good with that? I mean, it needs to be of scholarly quality, basically, okay? It's error-free and that you would turn
possible to make over 6 figures a year working 2 hours per day.
To satisfy a
Crazy.
writing requirement.
Crazy.
That's not what the order says, sir. Well, I'll put it this way. As long as you write it yourself and it is completed in the format as dictated, APA, at least 10 primary and 10 secondary sources, that will, don't find it to be of suitable quality, you'll redo it. But the other thing is, if you don't do it, the other option I have is to jail you for 20 days because it's not satisfactory. So I would suggest that you write it in a satisfactory manner. I'm not, lawyers, we talk and write. That's our trade and stock. So I think you'll be able to do it. I know you'll be able to do it. You're a licensed lawyer. You have a 6-digit bar number. I am certain that you can do this assignment. Any other questions, sir? Okay.
Now y'all see.
All right.
His client sitting right there.
Lunch for your colleagues. Have you done that as of yet? You're supposed to have done that by March the 17th. Did you go to, I told you Jason's Deli. Did you satisfy that prong of your contempt yet?
I don't believe I was.
And if you want to revisit that again, we can certainly open it up. But I satisfied your contempt. By you paying $250, which you did, and I have a receipt from that of your choosing, which that was done to Miles College.
I'm talking about he's stunning these people like they're his kids.
Purchase Friday.
But I think it was a strategy to this. Right, you see that guy right there with the fro,
so
like with the hair,
prong one's been settled.
right down, right.
Prong two
next to
was you're
that is
supposed to
his client.
buy your colleagues lunch by that date.
I got mine.
Okay, so when I just want you to pick a date.
Whatever date is good for
Okay, all right. Well, look, I don't have any issue with it. I'm not the person that's going to partake. So it's okay with me. Let me just check right quick.
I think that's the heat that we're gonna have on.
It's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local.
May 19th would be fine. Most of your colleagues would be here anyway. So does that work for you, sir?
That works for me, Judge. And also, I never saw the contempt order.
I have it, and I haven't. We have not entered it because I want you to satisfy it first, because then I don't have to include the incarcerated portion of that. Okay.
Judge, I did misinterpret you, and I want to appeal that. I apologize for being negligent.
Hold on one second, sir. I just turned mine off. I'm sorry. Mr. Menendez, this was in satisfaction of me not sentence you to jail for 20 days. So if that's the case, well, then I will revisit the basis for your contempt. But I thought that, in fact, I'll have Ms. Weaver go ahead and pull that order, pull the part of the record. But I did, in fact, I did not hold you in, I did not go ahead and sentence you to the 20 days. I said that this would satisfy, once you apologized, I said, you can pay, because remember, you were going to do I was going to have you do a report as well, or a written product. I was also going to, but instead of doing that, we settled on the $250, and we settled on your buying lunch for your colleagues on the 17th of March. So that was my understanding.
Yeah, my understanding was that I apologized and that I was doing that sort of show that I was serious on this. I'll still buy the lunch,
And that will satisfy. Then that will satisfy this court's this court's concern. Okay.
I want to make sure I don't miss my time this week. I'll deal with it then. I'll still buy it.
Your Honor. 1 second. You want to chat with him? Okay.
Go talk to him. Let him know. And really, you guys, really do it. We got this mother in the end because we're gonna debench him. Because that's what he needs to play before I tell y'all what I want to say. So this is the end where Brian still goes and speaks to him, right? And I don't want to overflow back to you guys tomorrow morning, right? But if this was your attorney, right? Because both in the courtroom, which means they either took a plea, somebody on the run, so it might be one of them, who knows, right? Kept going lower and lower and lower and lower. They are down to 6 people. And stay strong. He realized he couldn't shake them up. They got attorneys, and they that's what I truly believe. Hold on. Huh? Yes, give me some. That's what I truly believe. I truly believe that he realized, okay, them boys, they're not going nowhere. They're gonna try to ride this out with Thug. And I think that he has off-record conversations with the prosecution because the prosecution can't handle going up against all those attorneys. She barely can handle going up against Brian Steele by himself. So I'm going to show you guys tomorrow how she tried to get Brian Steele out of the courtroom. She tried to have something set up to get him taken off of this case because he's a strong attorney, and I'm glad that he is in this room. Secondly, he never disrespects Brian Steele the way he did those other 2 attorneys. One of them is a public defender. That guy right there, that you see Brian Steele speaking with, that Spanish guy, Mr. Menendez. He punked all of these attorneys, but yet the prosecution blatantly ignores court orders day after day, time after time, moment after moment. Ain't nobody had to write no essay. Nobody had to buy lunch. Nobody had to pay $1,000 fine or none of that. And I feel like that was a part of the strategy to get some of the other guys to go ahead and take that plea deal. And if they take that plea deal, they have a very strong chance of ending up just like Unfu, Young Thug's brother, serving 9.5 years to the door because he signed a plea deal and he signed to be on probation for 10 years. Now, when you a rat, what rat you know gonna feel comfortable walking around Atlanta or anywhere else, a state like Georgia where everybody is free to bear arms? Who gonna be a rat, take a plea deal, and not have a pistol? You understand what I'm saying, y'all? Like, if it's public, he took a plea deal. People are already looking at him like a rat. You know what they do and how people feel like they gotta handle rats and snitches and all of that, whether it's Young Thug brother or not. I would not feel comfortable moving around Atlanta without a pistol. So they played all them boys that they got to sign the plea deals for 10 years of probation. And that was the worst thing they could have ever did, because I guarantee you, unless they move to Arizona or Timbuktu, they're going to have a pistol, because they scared for their life on a daily basis, because it was broad and publicized that they were taking a plea, which means they read it in people's eyes. Even though Young Thug himself, Jeffrey Williams, don't want to get nobody back. He's not saying that nobody needs to retaliate. He don't have a problem with anybody who took that plea deal, and I want to make that very clear. So them being fearing for their lives is not because of Jeffrey Williams. Them fearing for their lives is because of the court of public opinion that saw them do that. Random people that don't even know Jeffrey, that just happen to live in Atlanta, would still handle that just because they see that they are a rat. You understand what I'm saying? So all they knew exactly what they were doing by signing these guys up for 10 years probation. Y'all didn't put them in witness protection. Y'all didn't put them in a different state. Y'all put them right back in the streets of Atlanta with 10 years of probation, knowing that they are publicly publicized as a snitch or rat. How could they move around Atlanta comfortably without toting a pistol? When it's gun pistols, I'm saying these G words, and Blicky put it like that. They tote that down here. So why would anybody else be without it? Especially when they have been labeled a rat, a snitch. Like, it's a setup. And then the guys who didn't take the deal, he goes and starts messing with their attorneys. Now, your attorney got to work on the RICO case, one of the first and strongest high-profile RICO cases in the state of Georgia. Do you think that man got time to write an essay that needs to be published in the law review? He a public defender. How we didn't know he barely passed the bar? Shoot, we don't know. But I think that that was a tactic by the prosecution and the judge to get some of the numbers down lower and lower. They wanted everybody possible to take a deal. If they had it their way, they probably thought they was gonna get each and every last one of them guys to take a deal, and that Jeffrey was gonna be the last one standing, so that they can sling the hammer on Jeffrey by getting everybody to admit and say that YSL was in fact a gang, and that they did things in furtherance of the gang, and that they did things in furtherance of the gang and did what Jeffrey Williams told them to do. That was their plan. And when things are not going as planned for Miss Love starts trying to cheat. Miss Love is the biggest crook in the courtroom, and the judges aiding and abetting all of that. They country club conversations are pouring over into the courtroom. I could keep going, y'all, but I don't want to keep y'all for too long. I don't want this video to get boring or be boring. Shout out to the replay gang. I am most definitely coming back tomorrow. I want to come back tomorrow early. I want to come back tomorrow morning. I do. But I don't want to make any false promises. So just know that regardless of when or how, I will definitely be back. I thank y'all so much for sticking with me as long as you have. Thank you so much for supporting. Shout out to the replay gang. Please put in the comments, how you would feel if you had to deal with an attorney like that, to deal with, seeing your attorney get punked by the judge on several occasions. I'm going to show you guys more tomorrow. How you feel about what's going on in this case? How do you feel about the judge, about the prosecution, about the defense? Shout out to Brian Steele. Shout out to Mr. Stillwell's attorney as well. I'm going to get his name. It's so many attorneys on the case, but I'm going to write down their names and everything so that next time I show you guys a trial, I can point out everybody. Because I know them by face and I know their names, but sometimes I forget. So, man, we'll be back at it again tomorrow. And I do definitely want to do a personal video as well. It is the first, so the purge starts now. So you guys get ready. Thank you so much. Make sure y'all come back tomorrow, man. Shout out to the replay gang. Don't forget to drop down in the comments to let me know how you feel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Get me up in the algorithm if you support me. Much appreciated. It's much appreciated. Later.